Listener discretion is advised. Hello and welcome to True Crime, the podcast that helps you find new, emerging, and undiscovered true crime podcasts. I'm Greg, the host and curator of True Crime. Well, the holiday season is winding down and we're cruising right towards New Year's Eve. This week we're back to one true crime episode a week. Today's episode is from Twisted and Uncorked. Twisted and Uncorked are two best friends in two countries discussing all things twisted. They tackle true crime, paranormal, cult, or conspiracy cases. I think you're going to really like this episode. It might mention Christmas a few times, but it's really a traditional true crime episode, and it's featuring PNW haunts and homicides, so I know everybody loves them. If you like today's episode, make sure to check out the episode description for links to subscribe. All right, let's get this show started.
Begin.
Hello, twisted humans. Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting? Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alicia. And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Hello, and welcome to the very last bonus episode of 2022 for this podcast. We are joined today by some special guests, the hosts at Pacific Northwest Haunts and Homicides.
Woo! Ooh, very official sounding. Oh my gosh.
Caitlin and Cassie, welcome.
Hi.
Yeah, introduce yourselves. Tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Cassie. That's Caitlin.
Tell me your favorite colors.
Yeah.
Black.
Oh, love that answer.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna be the contrarian, I guess. I think mine's rose gold.
Ooh. All right.
Aww.
So we got Enid and Wednesday over here. Anyway.
Basically. Yeah. Yeah.
That's so cute.
I love that.
So
Thank you guys so much
not-
for agreeing to do this with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course. And we like to start our show off with fun facts. So,
Yay.
do you ladies, one of you, have a fun fact for us? Or both of you?
I think we both do.
We both do.
Good.
Yeah. Cassie, you go first.
You want me to go first? Okay.
I do.
So I got something that it's not like creepy or scary or true crimey or anything, but it's very PNW, I feel like. So it's fitting.
Okay.
Possibly like
Love
Forest Witch vibes.
Ooh.
Perfect.
Did you guys know that red squirrels make mushroom jerky to prepare for the winter?
Stop it.
What?
What?
So they take mushrooms and they dry them up and like stash them in trees and let them dry and basically make mushroom jerky.
This is my favorite fact of all time.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Love it
Cute.
so fucking
It's
much.
right up there with
I don't-
squared wombat poop.
I don't think we have red squirrels on the southeast coast, though.
I don't think so. I
More of
think
a
Aw.
reason you need to come to the Pacific Northwest, Sierra.
No,
Yeah.
can't do it.
Wow.
She knows she'll
Search
never
trees
leave.
for mushroom jerky.
Yeah, the issue is I cannot ever go to the Pacific Northwest because my family would all hate me because I would never come back. Like, there's no fucking way I would be able to leave that. And I have too much family over here to be that far away. So
So
They'll
she's
just
going to
have to go
retire
with
here.
you.
one day.
Yeah, we're all biased, but it is a pretty great place to live.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
funny because I am always talking about where I live as fucking awful. So
Oh,
hopefully
no.
people
It's not
don't
awful.
like
It's
where
hot,
they live.
but
I
it's
mean,
not awful.
no, I really mean Ohio, where I'm from. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Well, when we had Zandy on, he corroborated that it's not
Yeah.
a great place
Yeah.
to live also. I think that's just the
Awful.
Ohio way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Caitlin, do you have a fun fact?
I do. Yeah. And I actually forgot about the fun fact. So I got to find out at least kind of what Cassie's was about. So then I wanted to stay on theme
Okay.
and find something about a little woodland creature.
I love it.
So it's a really weird one. I was deeply uncomfortable with this one.
Oh, gosh.
Did you know that rabbits can't be sick.
I did know that, but I own 2 of them, so that's not.
Why can rabbits not be sick?
Because they're like rodents. Like, you know how rat poison works because they can't throw up? That's why.
Oh.
They literally cannot throw up.
What?
I didn't know that.
It's a
Yeah.
I
bummer.
didn't know that either.
Yeah.
So watch what you put outside is the moral of the story, guys. Okay? In your yards.
Right.
Little rabbits don't need to get into that. Yeah. I love that fun
Aw.
fact, but I'm also biased because I have 2 of them.
She does. She has free range rabbits.
Yeah, they run
Aw.
around my house like cats.
Oh, I
Mhm.
love that.
My fun fact is also about a woodland creature, kind of.
Wow, I feel like I need to change my fun
Sierra,
fact now.
get the memo.
Gosh.
Jeez. No, we almost never have like aligning fun facts, but since this was a holiday special, I decided to do my fun fact about reindeer,
Okay.
which, by the way, until recently, I did not think were a real animal, which is embarrassing in itself. But did you
That's
know
super
that
common.
reindeer have color-changing eyes?
No.
Interesting.
They are golden in the summer and a deep blue in the winter. In the summer, the golden glow of reindeer eyes is due to the light reflecting tapetum lucidum, or cat's eye, which is a mirrored
Nailed it.
layer between the located behind your retina. So when the available light in the winter fades, it undergoes a complex transformation that I'm not even going to attempt to explain that changes the amount of light that it can reflect, so it gives it a blue appearance.
Nice.
Right. So,
Love
and
that.
I love reindeer even more now.
Yeah. I cannot believe
That's
that you
cool.
didn't know reindeer existed, being from one of the coldest parts of the world. Have you never seen a reindeer like at the zoo?
No, I've seen caribou. I thought that reindeer were just caribou.
I don't know.
You do know
Listen.
they can't actually fly, though, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Just
Yes,
checking.
I do know that. This is like a solar system thing all over
Oh,
again.
gosh.
I'm just adding to the embarrassment of who I am. But yes,
Oh my gosh.
I did know that they can't fly. Sierra, tell me your fun fact, unless you want to switch it for a woodland
Nope.
creature fact.
I'm not. My fun
Going
fact
with
is holiday themed. 'Tis the season, so it kind of goes with yours, right? So we just like circled
Yeah,
around.
there we go.
My fun fact is that the poinsettia, which is commonly related to wintertime and Christmas time specifically, was colonized, and its quote unquote discovery is written in history as being from Joel Poinsett in the 1800s. However, Joel Poinsett was a slave owner who promoted white supremacy and slavery in his
Oh.
travels and in his
Oh.
political career. He's also been responsible for the displacement of many indigenous peoples along the way by forcibly removing them from native lands.
Now
This
I
is
feel
according
like I shouldn't
to...
buy poinsettias anymore.
No,
Sierra.
it's okay. Hang on. Hang on. By the way, this is according to the Tanansin Society. Sorry.
Okay.
The actual name of the plant before this terrible man took it was the Quetzalcoatl. So Quetzalcoatl originally had nothing to do with Christianity or Christmas. It was just a sacred plant used in ceremonies to celebrate the birth of one of their gods that I'm not going to try to pronounce during the winter solstice. So
Okay.
the Quetzalcoatl is what poinsettia should be called, and it is still related to the holiday season, just not Christmas.
I feel like I need to start calling it that from now on. 'cause-
Yes, everyone should.
Yeah. I have to get better at pronouncing it.
Yeah, I
Say it
had
again
to.
for us.
Quetzalcoatl.
Quetzalcoatl.
Mhm.
Okay. Narrowed it.
Okay.
I had to
Everybody's
Google
listening.
pronounce
We know
it,
that that's
so-
what we call it from now on. Okay, guys.
That's right.
We're gonna make it happen.
We're starting a movement here. I
Yeah.
love poinsettias. I've never been able to get
You
mine
mean
blue flower, though.
Quetzalcoatl?
Yes, those.
Yes.
Never been
It's
able
gonna
to get
take
the
a while
Marie
to catch
flower.
on.
Yeah, it is going to take a while.
As long as we
Stop
try.
trying to make fetch happen, okay?
Exactly. Thank you.
After we
Finally.
do our fun facts, we usually talk about drinks.
Yes.
And today we all have different drinks, right?
I
Yeah,
think so.
we
Let's
do.
talk about our drinks.
What are you ladies drinking?
Let's see. I've got mine
We got
masked
fellow wine lovers here, which I respect.
in my Yeti. Going as
Perfect.
basic as possible tonight.
If you tell me it's a Chardonnay, then I'll take it.
Truly.
Oh, there you go.
We don't like Chardonnay either.
Good.
Yeah, we're not Chardonnay girls, so
I love Truly's myself. What are you drinking?
Is that
Tasty.
pineapple, Caitlin?
it is. Yeah.
Pineapple is a
funny
really great
story.
flavor.
She's allergic.
What? Why are you
Huh?
drinking pineapple then? Don't they actually put real fruit extract? Isn't that their whole thing with Truly?
I don't think so.
I think she's proving it right now because she's not dead.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Aw. What are you drinking, Cassie?
I have some locally sourced, organic, chilled water from my fridge.
Very local. Love it.
It's in a Starbucks cup.
It is fancy. It counts.
My drink ended up being bad. It
Oh,
was
no.
wine that was open for too long. I didn't realize it was opened already.
No.
so-
Oh no.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
yeah, it was red wine and it didn't smell good anymore. So
Oh, yeah.
Yuck.
You just gotta cook with it at that point.
It's 2022. Everything has preservatives. It's fine. Like,
That's
you'll be
fair.
fine.
My favorite red wine is Bodacious Smooth Red, and it lives in my fridge at all times. So.
mm,
Speaking of your favorite wine, what are you drinking, Alicia?
Well, I'm drinking that, but for the spirit of the Christmas / Yule / whatever you celebrate episode, I am drinking my favorite Christmas drink, which my dad makes for us every year, is a Christmas mule. It is ginger beer, rosemary from my deck, gin, cranberry juice, and fresh cranberries. So that is what I'm
that
drinking.
sounds so
Ooh.
good.
Really good. Would
You call it a-
recommend.
Christmas mule?
I call it a Christmas mule because,
Huh?
like,
the cranberries?
Moscow mules are like with just the ginger beer and mint
Right,
usually. So yes, because of the cranberries, it's a Christmas
Nice.
mule.
Like it.
It's really good, but it's mostly gin. I'm not gonna lie. I think I made a mistake when I was making it, but it's good.
Oopsie.
Yeah,
I
what do you got,
accidentally
Sierra?
on purpose.
yeah, exactly right.
This has been sitting for a minute. How long have we been recording? 37 minutes to be exact. So my whipped cream that was really tall and pretty has melted in.
Oh no, that's okay.
Aw.
But
I
it's
love that mug.
thank you. I love it too. It has a tree on it.
Oh, so cute.
I'm a
It's
sucker for a ceramic mug.
the Mexican hot chocolate with Kahlua.
Mm.
I can't
Hello.
stop drinking Mexican hot chocolate. It's so freaking
You never
good.
did Naria send that just to you, or did she send it to the?
She sent it in a it was on her post. She posted a picture of it. I asked her how to make it and she
Oh.
replied. But I told
Gotcha.
I told you about it.
I don't remember you sharing this.
It's the brand of
Uh-oh.
chocolate is the Abuelita
Right,
Chocolate,
right, you did
but
tell
it's
me.
like a
You did
chocolate-
tell me.
bar that you melt into milk and heavy cream.
Okay,
Yeah,
this is one
it's
of our
really good.
wonderful, wonderful listeners. That yeah,
Yes.
she's great. But that sounds fucking delicious. I love hot chocolate.
I also love hot
Underrated.
chocolate.
I love apple cider too.
I feel like it
was gonna
helps
make
me
apple
sleep.
cider, but I didn't have time. Yeah, chocolate is just like the way that women need to be at all times. Hopefully, neither of you are allergic to chocolate, because then I'm really upset for pineapple
Somebody
is
hates
upsetting
chocolate.
enough. But what? Oh god!
I'm just gonna out you all day.
Yeah.
drinking
My
stuff
husband
she's
hates
allergic
chocolate
to.
too, but more for me.
Yeah, exactly. I am eating chocolate covered almonds for dinner, so it's good times.
Good dinner.
It's a great dinner. So tell us your story.
Oh,
Yes.
wait, before we do that, just listeners, so you know, this is PNW Haunts and Homicides story. And if you want to hear our story, you will have to go to their feed, subscribe to their podcast, and listen to our episode on their feed.
Which you're going to want to do anyway.
Yeah.
An excellent thing to make note of.
All right, ladies, whenever you're ready.
All right. I'm going to get right into it. This is actually an old-timey case.
Love old-timey cases.
Yeah. It's so interesting to me because I feel like sometimes they didn't have to work that hard to get away with it.
Yeah.
And somehow they're still caught.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of one of those.
Did they run a stop sign?
Right?
It's an ongoing joke in the true crime world.
It's so bad. In 1921, Dr. Richard Brumfield, that's a rough name.
Yeah.
That is a rough name. He was a young dentist in Roseburg, Oregon, having moved there from Chicago to open a small practice after completing dental school there.
Now I know why you chose this story.
I don't trust a dentist ever.
Right?
It's good advice.
It's not why I picked the story, but I did love that.
I'm sorry, people that want to look in your mouth for a job are that's a problem in itself.
Yeah. There's something really wrong there.
I'm pretty sure didn't we cover a serial killer dentist at some point? Yeah, see, never trust a dentist.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
He had quickly become a pillar of that small town community.
Always.
Pillar to killer.
He was more than just a respected businessman in Roseburg, though. He held memberships at the Elks Lodge and with the Roseburg Monthly Music Club.
Oh.
Yeah.
It sounds very wholesome, but I feel like you're gonna shatter it.
Pretty much. He was married to an attractive and dutiful woman, and the couple had 3 young boys. On the 13th of July that same year, Dental, yep, that's his name. Totes.
Might as well be.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is that actually his name, though? Because that's why he chose that profession.
Yeah. Dennis Russell was hired under the pretense of Dr. Brumfield needing assistance with removing some tree stumps from his property.
Were they tree stumps or were they bodies?
Good question. Okay. Dennis was a well-liked and unmarried man, though he was not known for his wit or intellect in particular. So obviously, it wasn't going to be difficult for the doctor to disguise his true intentions. And in this case, the truth is certainly stranger than any fantastical, fictional tale I could have imagined.
Ooh, say that 3 times fast.
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
won't.
Love this as a prelude, though.
Yeah, absolutely. You see, the image that Dr. Brumfield had projected to the community of a wholesome, prosperous, and all-American family was indeed, at least in part, a fabrication. For you see, the good doctor did find himself in a bad habit. Oh, in a bad bit of money trouble.
Oh.
I was like, oh no, a bad habit.
Oh, a bad habit. I got a bad habit.
Well, killing people usually is a bad habit, but
yes. Arguably one of the worst. His plans for Dennis lied in using his corpse to fake his own death. Exactly.
Dennis!
Yeah.
Oh, I was really hoping he was just going to be an accomplice.
Yeah. That would have been probably Dennis's preference, but
Poor Dennis.
no.
R.I.P. Dennis/dentist.
Yeah. He had a $30,000 life insurance policy and had also taken out 2 separate loans from Roseburg banks. Insurance schemes, as one might surmise, he may have already learned, were a far more lucrative way to make a quick buck than any other occupation. He'd actually already previously received payments for homes that had been burned to the ground. So this is our wholesome dentist who's just, lighting shit on fire.
He's just a huge con man.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty wild. The handyman, Dennis, had been offered a bottle of moonshine when the doctor arrived to pick him up at his home. In hindsight, it probably would have been a good idea to hold off on the day drinking until after he'd finished his work, blowing up tree stumps clean out of the ground with dynamite. But, of course, Dennis didn't have the benefit of knowledge that the moonshine had also been laced with some sort of sedative. So, questionable choice? Sure.
Oh my gosh. So he just starts drinking it before work.
Yep. But you got to feel bad for the guy once you find out what's next. When Dennis had succumbed to the power of the tainted spirits, Dr. Brumfield took him about a mile down the road in his personal vehicle, and not for a picnic, to bludgeon him with the .30 Remington semi-auto rifle that he had also packed up for this errand.
Oh my God.
Why are you bludgeoning with a rifle?
Yeah. You realize that's a gun, right?
I mean, I'm not going to tell you how to murder somebody, but I feel like you did it the hard way.
Yeah. Just like, come on.
Yikes.
There's such an obvious cheat code here.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, guns are loud.
Rosebud.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Dennis.
I know.
I was really starting to like him.
I know. I was really starting to become attached. Making a second stop further along the road, Dr. Brumfield shot Dennis twice with that same rifle. Even in a rural community, gunfire could draw attention, so he quickly sped away from this second location, which Roseburg is still pretty small here in Oregon, like compared to a city like Portland. So I was kind of surprised. I was like, why are you so worried about getting caught? Like, isn't everybody just out shooting guns like pew pew?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Pew pew.
Old time westerny.
Yeah, that's what they sound like. So
In my experience, yes. Which is 0.
So he just drove away? Like,
well, he did just drive away, but unfortunately he did take Dennis with him. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he shoots him and then takes him with.
He beat him.
Yeah.
And then he was like, oh, wait, this is a gun. And then he shoots him. And then he's like, oh, no, I'm going to get caught. Come on, let's go. Why? I don't.
Sir.
Yeah. I think probably at this point, he wasn't really asking Dennis nicely. He was probably just shoving him back into the trunk. But who knows?
Oh, poor Dennis. I'd be like, fuck you. No.
Yeah. I mean, assuming that Dennis was even conscious, I feel like, yikes.
Okay. Can I just say, I have what is it called? A prediction of what is going to happen next.
Oh, I like it.
And I don't think it's actually going to happen, but it would be hilarious.
Sarah, don't spoil her.
Because is there a trail of blood that follows his vehicle all the way back to where he is?
Is this going to get even more Looney Tunes?
Yeah.
Right? It feels like a cartoon.
Oh, it honestly gets more cartoony.
Oh gosh.
That specific explanation would be just chef's kiss, but no. It wasn't until he reached the river that the doctor made a third stop to remove each and every tooth from Dennis's mouth.
No.
That's Sierra's worst nightmare.
So he's a dentist because he's literally a psycho.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's
never trusted
yeah.
He enjoys
come
it.
full circle.
It's my best guess anyway.
why?
So the weird part, though,
Sierra has to think about
yeah,
teeth.
I get it. It's horrifying.
Can't stop, like, goosebumps.
That seems like a lot of work.
Yeah,
Yeah, right?
Mhm.
yeah.
Like, how many teeth do adults have? Like 25?
He may have
I think
had
it's
up to
32.
32. Yeah.
Oh,
It's 32 with your wisdom teeth, 28 without.
okay.
I'm one of the weird.
I've never stopped to count my teeth, but I'm glad you knew that off the top of your head because that wasn't even close.
I'll tell you why after we're done.
I'm going to message you
gosh.
guys how many teeth I actually have later.
Perfect. If you could just take a quick count and get back to us, that'd be great.
Doing some research here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no.
Well, it gets weirder though. And that's just on this third stop before we move on to more weirdness.
Oh, gosh.
There's levels and layers. It's like an onion of weird criminal activity. He then threw those teeth into the current of the river.
Why? What was the point?
It's making
Well,
a
I
wish.
guess to get rid of DNA. Yeah, dental
Well,
records.
I mean, there's
yeah.
nobody's testing DNA back then, so I was kind of thinking the
Yeah,
same.
it's 1921.
I forgot what timeline it was.
Exactly.
But couldn't they still identify people by dental records back then?
I don't think that you could really identify someone by dental records back then because, at least in part, I think that they use your X-rays when they do
That's
that.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is true.
I think the most that they knew was if they have a gold tooth, they must
Right.
have money.
Right.
I think were dental records. Just like somebody looking at a dead guy's mouth, like, yeah, that looks like those.
Make them bite
Jesus
something and then
Christ.
make the dead person bite
Oh, yeah,
something.
the bite is the same.
Yeah. Well,
That's
we
my bad, guys.
obviously cannot do that here. He has
No.
a 0 teeth.
Oh, goodness.
Yep.
No.
So Highway 99, which normally I would say this may sound familiar to local listeners. I don't know if you have any listeners in the PNW. Probably.
I hope
Probably.
so, or I'm not representing very well.
But on Highway 99 is where he pulled over yet again to place his signet ring on the man's finger.
Okay.
Yeah. It was there.
Wait a minute.
What?
I forgot the
His
whole point
what?
of this was to fake his own death.
It's like a
Oh my
it's like a
God.
class ring, I think.
Okay,
A signet
yeah.
ring.
That's what Alicia just said is where my mind was going. I just wanted to make sure I heard you correctly.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
You're like, why?
Also, we don't have class rings in Canada. I feel like that's just an American thing.
I think
I
you're
feel
right.
like that's just a bougie American thing because
I don't have
did
a
not
class
buy a
ring.
class ring.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Why would you? I don't understand why you.
Super
would get
rich,
one.
privileged
Yeah.
white
I had to
people
pay out
have
the
class
ass for
rings.
my yearbook, so I don't even want to
Yeah,
know what a
right?
ring would cost.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think that's just kind of a old tradition, you know? When we all grew up in these small
All the
towns
boomers
and-
have class rings.
Yeah,
you go.
exactly. Exactly.
Well, there was less of them back then, so it wasn't as pricey. You could be like, I had
They also
400
didn't have
kids
credit
graduate with
scores.
me.
I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true. It's true. Separate problem. All right. So his ring is gone.
It was there that he staged the supposed suicide. He placed a stick of dynamite in the poor man's mouth, which how? Because he has no teeth. So like how
What was the point? Also, in pulling out all the teeth, the dynamite would have done that for you.
Well-
Come
Right?
on, sir. Save yourself some time here.
yeah.
He just enjoyed that part.
I think that he was concerned that probably not all of the teeth would get blown out, or yeah, I'm not really sure. Listen, I don't know. There's a lot still to come that's even weirder. I'm not sure if
Oh,
that's
gosh.
the thread that you want to pull on. If I'm being honest. Having placed him in the driver's seat before lighting the fuse, it was handy to still be nearby to the river where he could clean up from his gruesome work afterwards as well. Apparently, in doing so, he'd left evidence of actions at this particular spot in the wandering crime scene. Because it is indeed a wandering crime scene. Just like a 3-hour tour, like Gilligan's Island, all across the countryside.
Oh my gosh.
Finding all the teeth. It's a whole problem.
The blood trail.
Right? I really want that to be part of the case. And it's
It's going to be in the remake that we do. It's
perfect.
This is going to be a movie one day. That's Sierra's version.
A cartoon.
Yeah.
Cartoon movie.
Absolutely.
Goddamn Looney Tunes.
Perfect. No notes. He pushed the vehicle along with poor Dennis's body down an embankment after setting it alight. The doctor set off for the train yard in a change of clothes he'd packed as the vehicle let off a large explosion at his back. Which, at this point, I'm just picturing, like, what if he, in the vein of, like, Looney Tunes type stuff, what if he had packed the clothes, but he forgot to grab them before he pushed the car down the embankment and it's on fire and he goes chasing after it like, my overalls.
Oh, no.
And when it explodes, you see the pants, like, fly into the sky as a whole piece.
TM,
1000%.
guys. Nobody can have this. This is ours.
Oh gosh. The explosion is starting to make it sound like something maybe more off like a Lifetime movie network or
Yeah.
a sci-fi movie, you know? It wasn't until the investigators discovered the corpse among the wreckage had been decapitated that much of anything looked amiss. The remaining unexploded dynamite seemed almost to be pre-designed to point the investigation to a seemingly inevitable conclusion. Because there was still dynamite that had been packed up in the car for him to, blow up trees. Or,
Oh my goodness.
the stumps at least. But it was odd how precise the explosion and blast radius must have been. And then there was the question of where all of the man's teeth were.
Yeah.
So many questions.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah. Even in the fragmented state that the head was found in, it seemed odd that not a single tooth could be located.
I hate that fragmented head.
It's crazy it didn't just like demolish the head.
Yeah.
Somebody should name a heavy metal band after that.
Demolished head.
Fragmented head.
Yeah, fragmented
good
head.
one.
It's a great heavy metal
It
band.
really would
Come on.
be.
Sorry, there's Puddle of Mud. I think my idea is better.
Yeah. Hard to argue with that, honestly. Then there was the fact that distinguishable prints still remained on the corpse, like fingerprints, phalange prints. And that was technology they did have back in that day.
Mm.
As well as clothing that could, and I don't understand this for the life of me, but could still somehow easily be identified as not only not the doctors, but actually identifiable as specifically Dennis's in particular.
Was
Okay.
his name written on him?
Probably in the tags. Yeah, it's the 20s, probably.
Right?
Or, like,
My mom
sewn
did that to me
Leave
at summer
the
camp,
teeth,
so I wouldn't
But
doubt
the
it.
tags.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes no sense to me for so many reasons, but I'm thinking, okay, so we can't identify the head, but his clothes. Sure, why not?
Also, is this supposed to be a suicide? Because
Yeah.
this is the most, like, you have to know, even if they
Chaos.
don't know who it is, they're gonna investigate this like a murder.
Right.
No one goes to this extreme to kill themselves.
Right.
Like, this is ridiculous.
In the most
Yeah.
horrific way possible. Like, that's a new one.
It's
I
like,
gotta
who
say.
is
Every
putting
murder
dynamite
that's been
in their
covered
mouth
up as a
after
suicide.
pulling out their teeth?
Yeah.
Who? Not
It's a true
me.
story.
Not Dennis.
It's like that case that we covered where she was completely naked before she, quote unquote, completed suicide. No one takes off all their clothes before they're doing that.
Interesting.
No one's doing this.
Oh my gosh. Most damning of all, perhaps, were some of the personal effects that belonged to Dennis found at the scene, including his watch and his fountain pen. Keeping in mind that it's not like today where any adult probably has the equivalent of an entire case of Bics just lying around at home. Like,
yeah, he had his name on it.
Like, you have one pen.
Yeah. It's like a quill, too. You know,
right?
It's this weird tip.
Exactly.
And the ink comes out the sides.
Yeah. She knows. She gets it. Motorists reported they'd seen the vehicle speeding around the area, one even citing a near miss with the reckless vehicle, and another notably stating that they'd even seen what they swore were feet sticking out of the trunk. So it's not the blood trail that you were dreaming of, but it is the Looney Tunes case that I promised you through and through.
Just some feet hanging out. Oh my gosh.
I know. Can you imagine?
No.
You couldn't fit him in.
I know. Come on.
Too better.
Dr. Brumfield's widow did identify the body, which, what?
Yeah, that's my husband. Sorry.
Come again? I'd have follow-up questions for her if this case wasn't over 100 years old, for sure. But alas, she hadn't ever been identified by name in any of the papers, so I think I'd be pretty hard-pressed to track her down, honestly, even with a Ouija board. Not that we would try.
Yeah.
Right, Cassie? Not that we would try.
You wouldn't try. I might try.
If you guys do try, can we be a part of it?
Yes.
Oh, sounds like a plan for when I'm out of town. At any rate, there are other details far more bizarre and certainly more interesting, if perhaps not as salacious by modern standards.
Ooh.
Having made his escape, early accounts of the Wild West tale would describe the doctor as potentially having made off disguised as a woman. A woman.
Oh, scandalous.
That's a woman.
Really?
This is scandalous.
It is.
1921 it is.
Yeah.
He wanted to get the fuck away from his wife and wear some pantyhose. That's the moral of the story.
It's funny that you mentioned that. You see, the day prior to the murder, Dr. Brumfield had purchased a large quantity of women's unmentionables, undergarments, lingerie.
Oh my goodness.
Whatever term strikes your fancy. And he'd done
It's the old-timey voice that gets me.
right. And he'd done so with the assistance of a dark-haired woman that no one recognized.
Oh.
Oh.
It just keeps getting
I
juicier.
know. I'm obsessed. The doctor then tried to mail the boxed up items to Calgary.
Alberta,
Okay.
Canada?
I was like, oh, and Canada's in it. I know where I'm going to tell this story.
Perfect.
This is where...
Can't say I've come across this box, but
Yeah, exactly. This is where he hit a snag, as the postal clerk informed him that the package couldn't be sent across the border into Canada. Not exactly sure why, but...
They don't want those unmentionables there.
yeah, she knew something was up. She's like, no.
They are unmentionables for a reason, sir. But apparently Seattle was far enough north for his liking. Mrs. Norman Whitney was to procure the package from the post office there within a few weeks' time. Holy shit, that's a tongue twister.
Is this the girl with the brown hair?
It's anyone's guess, really.
Oh gosh.
Spoiler alert. The sheriff took this to mean that Dr. Brumfield meant to travel as a woman to whatever his final destination might be, though it seemed if this had in fact ever been his plan, Dr. Brumfield must have abandoned that plot outright. The sheriff had still done well to take care in making sure that the word spread about this package, though. And I'm going to tell you why.
I feel like it's probably not his plan. Granted, this guy seems really, really dumb.
Yes.
But I think it would draw a lot of attention to you if all you're wearing is lingerie.
Yeah.
As a man. You'd need something else.
You know, you make a good point.
Sounds more like a
Sir,
gift.
your clothes.
Exactly. It wasn't long before the true crime story and all the gory details had hit the papers, as had the doctor's peculiar purchase. He was rumored to have been spotted in numerous places throughout the state of Oregon while on the lam, including La Pine, Redmond, Silver Lake, Spokane, Crater, and Diamond Lakes, all of the lakes, as well as throughout the surrounding Bend area. So he's just doing a grand old tour of southern.
I was going to say, he's sightseeing.
Yeah, exactly. One witness account even claimed the doctor had taken to highway robbery. Hardly lying low, as you might think a man facing murder charges might, though none of these stories were ever really confirmed. So, but I like to think he was sightseeing.
But I'm like, didn't he try to fake his own death? Why is he like showing his face all around town?
Yeah.
You know, I would actually say that was maybe a smart thing, because if you're like, oh, this person is wanted but might be dead, and everyone's like, no, I saw him here, and someone else is like, well, I saw him here, then the police might be like, those are too conflicting. There's no way you both saw him. So how do we know anybody saw him?
Right.
I don't think he meant to do that, but
maybe
for future people who want to fake your own death, you should do that.
She's like, I'm not giving him that much credit, but
yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all want to think there's some sort of a grand plan, and I think sometimes they just didn't think it through.
No.
By August 12th, he was in custody. He was arrested when he tried to recover the package he'd addressed to Mrs. Norman Whitney. They were like, you're not Mrs. Norman Whitney?
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. He'd assumed the identity of Mr. Norman Whitney and was working as a ranch hand in Calgary.
get out of Canada, sir.
Okay.
Once settled into his new home, work, and identity, he asked for the package to be forwarded up to Calgary from Seattle. The post office quickly alerted the authorities. He was arrested without incident during his workday on the ranch. So very anticlimactic.
So
Why
it
did he need
wasn't
it so bad?
don't
a traffic
know.
ticket. It was a postal alert. I love it.
Of lingerie.
The strangest thing, though, is that this was like the hottest goss at that time. Not just because it was
People
like
are
women's
bored.
underwear or anything either. It was because it was too small to have fit him. They were like, it wouldn't have fit his wife. It wouldn't have fit the woman that he was shopping for when he bought this shit. So who the hell is this lingerie for?
Oh my goodness.
Oh God, now
It's
that's
anyone's
creepy.
Right?
guess. Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
Mm.
Dr. Brumfield and his captor didn't find it was a warm welcome awaiting them back in the States upon arriving in Portland.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah. It seems Dennis's friends had learned of his arrival and were all too eager to see some form of justice carried out. And they weren't too particular about whether or not he got his day in court before they'd be willing to dole it out.
Uh-oh.
Go figure.
These 1920
Old-timey
crimes
justice.
don't usually go well.
Right? He was transported on to Roseburg in the dead of night about a week later. His belongings in Calgary yielded evidence of letters he had not yet managed to post, one to his supposed mistress, and the other a poorly penned confession letter he'd intended to pass off as having been written by none other than his victim, Dennis Russell.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Neither had made its way to the intended recipient. In the letter to Clara McKillum, he waxed poetic about the two of them running away to Australia together. She'd literally only met him through the course of his travels, very recently, when he stayed at the hotel where she worked. So, meanwhile, the Portland papers speculated to a degree that can only be described as ad nauseum about what particular perversion the man must be affronted with to have such a package.
Yeah.
And this was an interesting little fact that I learned from this. I just thought it was such a quirky little thing. Female impersonator was apparently the term of the day for this particular type of, quote, heavy air quotes here, degeneracy. Never mind that more than one of the city officials quoted on the matter was a friend to the local KKK. This guy's... oh, shit. This guy and his women's underwear. That's what we really all need to focus on, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Words are hard.
They are.
As it could never be determined who the garments had been purchased for, the fascination continued. During his pre-trial incarceration, Dr. Brumfield initially swore to his true identity being that of Dennis Russell, before admitting later that he was in fact Dr. Brumfield.
We know.
Yeah. And
Oh my God.
the next sentence in my note says, and everyone just basically old-timey rolled their eyes.
We're shocked.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Dr. Brumfield carried on denying that he had committed the crime that he was accused of. He said he couldn't recall the so-called accident in which one man had been left dead, burnt to a crisp, which is hardly a convincing cover story.
With no teeth.
Amnesia? Really?
Goodness.
Yeah. The two psychologists...
It was the explosion. Sorry.
That's exactly, I mean, at least like the backstory makes sense with it, but
Nothing else does.
no, not at all.
Sir, you have a PhD.
Yeah.
Do better.
Exactly.
You would hope anyway.
Yeah. The two psychologists that evaluated him did find him to be crazy, apparently in a medically diagnosable manner. Trust me.
Oh, we're shocked.
Yeah. Trust me, if you read the articles covering the crime back in the day, that's the most generous way that he was ever described.
Oh
and
my
besides,
gosh.
the rage of the residents of Roseburg couldn't be so easily assuaged. They were super pissed. On
Well, they can't put cuckoo, banana, nutmeg.
Exactly.
In the...
Exactly. On September 27th, Dr. Brumfield lands a punch on a reporter square in the nose when the man was attempting to interview him. Another charming
No.
moment for him.
No.
Yeah. Dr. Brumfield never did confess, still claiming all the way through that he could not recall having committed the heinous crime and did not believe himself capable of such a gruesome and dastardly deed. He was tried, convicted, and sentenced to hang. Notably, the reports of Mrs. Brumfield at the trial were sparse. Early on in the trial, it was stated that she did not appear before the court, but on the final day, apparently she did make an appearance, as it was widely reported that she fainted after his sentence was read. After every hope was finally lost of his appeal, he tried to complete suicide by cutting himself with his own dental appliance, which only led to a horrific spell of blood poisoning.
No.
Yeah. Kind
Why
of
did
ironic.
he have his dental appliance?
Well, I mean, it would still typically like be in your mouth, and basically what he did was take this, I'm guessing it was like a bridge, took it out and he filed it down. So he like turned it into a shank.
No.
Wow.
I hope no one in prison is
No,
listening to
that's-
this.
Right?
Don't turn your teeth into weapons.
Yeah. But finally, on September 13th, 1922, he was found dead in his prison cell where he had used the bed sheet from his prison bunk to hang himself from his bunk. So,
Sir, why didn't you do this to start?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean,
he wanted to live his best life and see some sights, but still,
wow.
poor Dennis.
He was an awful lot.
That is so sad.
That is so
Right, poor
ridiculous.
I loved it. I loved hearing about it. I'd never heard this before.
Me
Yeah.
either.
It's
Great
a
job.
very bizarre one.
Yes, it is.
We love an old-timey case for this reason. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
nothing makes sense.
No, it really doesn't. It really doesn't.
I'm still hung up on the lingerie. Who's that for?
I know. I know. You're not alone in that.
There's so many things I'm still hung up on. Like, what was the point of any of this?
Yeah.
Also, I hope that since he learned so much about insurance scamming, that he had a really good life insurance policy that his wife got.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that would be good.
Well, he had the $30,000
Do you think she
life
was in on it though?
insurance.
Because she was quick to identify Dennis
She sure
as her
was.
husband. So, okay.
Oh, I mean, yeah, she was. She sure was quick to identify him. I don't think she was in on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aw.
She was never publicly named or anything like that. So
Yeah.
She's like, if he wants to go off and be a woman and
yeah,
see the sights, you can do you, but I want some money out of it.
right. Speaking of living your best life,
He wanted to start an OnlyFans. It's fine.
yeah.
That was
Oh
his
my
next
gosh.
scam. He was going to send feet pics and say that he was a woman.
Oh my God.
I mean, what could go wrong?
Send his dirty underwear to men. You know,
Oh.
it happens.
That's what I
Listen,
hear.
if you want to contribute, or sorry, if you want to profit off of somebody's yum, I guess you do you. I still can't get behind that.
Oh my gosh.
Great job, though.
Oh, why? Thank
I loved
you.
it.
We usually do like a tarot read.
Do you guys do like a question or a thing or a what?
We just kind of treat the case
question
or
or thing.
the episode that we've just covered as like kind of give us insight on this situation. And we just try
What
to
is with the woman's lingerie?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. We're putting that out there. That card fell out, so that's going to be what it is.
Oh,
5 of Wands reversed.
The 5 of Wands, you said?
Yes.
Five of Wands reversed.
Are you guys Bob's Burgers fans? I really hope so.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Who's a Tina fan?
That was my
Is
Halloween
that-
costume last year.
Oh my god, so cute.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have
Okay,
I have my interpretation book so that I can
Do
read
it.
it.
I was going to say.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so 5 of Wands, our keywords are competition, ego battles, disagreements, confusion.
Yeah.
So no clarity, just
Well-
just reaffirming what we already know.
We're
Okay.
confused too.
Definitely. I have more interpretation though. I think we're going to get some clarity here, you guys. I feel it. I feel it. When the 5 of Wands appears, it suggests a struggle for power, money, or recognition. Ego battles may interfere with the smooth flow of life. In some cases, it shows competition for resources or control. Confusion and disagreements exist. In the reverse, it's time to adapt challenging circumstances when the 5 of Wands appears reversed. Old attitudes and behaviors need to be released. Seek a compromise. Otherwise, nobody wins. Don't get in questionable or risky practices at this time and be careful whom you trust. Wow.
I feel like this card needed to be pulled before this whole story unfolded.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. I feel like there's a lot of this is like just a card warning everyone that's involved in this case. Just like, ooh,
No kidding.
Yikes, watch out.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh.
That was great.
That was
We're still
great.
confused.
I mean,
Yeah.
there was never going to be a card that told us the first and last name of who that lingerie really belonged to, but
Yeah.
if there had been, that would have been great.
Would be really great to know. I'll send you guys some photos of these cards because they're fucking incredible.
Yes, please
love
do.
I don't know how she finds these things, but she does. Well, do you guys want to plug your stuff? Tell our listeners where they can find more of your amazing stories.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what kind of amazing stories you do?
For our show, Cassie and I take turns, so we kind of rotate, or sometimes if I have a burning desire to get a story out, she'll let me skip a week where we would normally be paranormal, but we trade off between the true crime and spooky, paranormal, or otherwise witchy topics. And we do a tarot reading for every single episode. And Cassie, you've always said it so perfectly, kind of the explanation on the tarot reading.
The explanation? Yeah, we just ask for deeper insight into whatever we're talking about. Usually we don't expect it to be answered, but that would be nice.
Yeah.
Caitlin always says that's her goal,
Yeah.
is to solve a crime through tarot.
Nice.
Love that.
I think we're getting closer
We
every day.
I think so too. We have some crazy spot-on cards sometimes.
I love it. Well, go and check out their feed, Twisted Humans. You will not be disappointed.
And our story will be there. So go subscribe.
Yay!
Yeah, go and listen. We will see you guys next month for another bonus. We hope you have a happy holidays, whatever you celebrate. We will see you guys next year for another bonus episode. In the meantime,
Keep
it
twisted.
Thank you for listening to Twisted and Uncorked podcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can also check out all of our sources and materials, as well as photos for the episode, on our website at twistedanduncorked.com. And you can follow us on social media at Twisted and Uncorked or Twisted_pod on Twitter. Thank you so much for all of your love and support, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode. Cheers!
Thanks again for listening to True Crime by Indie Drop-In Network. If you would like to nominate a true crime podcast to be featured, just send me a tweet at Indie Drop-In. I'd also love to hear if one of our featured podcasts is now your favorite show. Indie Drop-In survives off ad revenue and listener donations. If you would like to contribute, please consider buying me a coffee. You can go to buymeacoffee.com/Indie Drop-In. If you look at the very bottom of the episode description, I put a link in there to make it really easy. Indie Drop-In has many other shows that you also might like. Just go to indiedropin.com. All right, see you next week.